Let's start with our prayers. Umagyanatimirandasya gnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmritam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai. So today is Vijaya Ekadashi. Before we go into the specifics of Vijaya Ekadashi, let's try to understand from each of you, what do you understand about Ekadashi? What is your understanding of Ekadashi? What does it mean?
Ekadashi is Bhakti Janani, Mataji. Bhakti
Yes,
Janani.
absolutely right. Yes.
Actually, she made samhara of Murasura.
Murasura.
Murasura,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, that's one of the pastimes, correct.
Yeah. Based on that instant onwards, God blessed her to make all of us on the earth globe will do fasting
Yes.
on her name called Ekadashi.
Yes, there's one more pastime to that. This is a follow-up pastime, the Mura episode. We'll talk about that as well today. Okay, not going to the details of the pastime, but what is your understanding of Ekadashi? Tell me anything that you know about Ekadashi, other than the pastimes and all that. What does the word Ekadashi mean?
11th.
11th
day.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the lunar calendar, it comes on the 11th day, both on the Shukla and Krishna Paksha. Correct. And Mataji also already said this is Madhava Tithi, right? The Ekadashi is also called as Madhava Tithi because this is the Tithi of Krishna himself, right? And let's understand then what special is there about this Vijaya Ekadashi. Now, it said that Narada Muni once asked this question to Brahmaji, what is so special about this Vijaya Ekadashi? And Brahmaji said, anyone who does this Ekadashi Vrata, they'll get victory. Just as the name says, Vijaya, victory. Okay, so what is this victory are we talking about? Let's understand that even further. You can see the background picture. Lord Rama is, this is a picture where he's building the Setu to Sri Lanka. So Lord Rama, after his exile with to the forest with Mother Sita and Lakshmana, so we know the pastime of how Mother Sita was kidnapped, and in the process, Rama is now searching for Sita, and he met Jatayu. He got information that Ravana has kidnapped Sita, and then further he meets Sugriva, and after helping Sugriva with his own personal issues, he then collects a large Vanara Sena with the help of Sugriva's army, who further now say, okay, we are at the end of India, at the shore of India. We need to now cross this ocean and go to Sri Lanka, the Arabian Sea, right? But looking at this ocean, the ocean had very rough waves. It was very deep. And Rama is thinking there'll be so many Timingilas, whales in this ocean, how to even cross? All my Vanara Sena will just, disappear, just trying to cross this ocean. So he put this question to Lakshmana to say, how do you think we can cross this ocean? Right? Lord Rama is playing a role of a very sad husband who's lost his wife and is not able to think clearly. So he's asking such questions to Lakshmana. Is there a way for us to cross this ocean? Right? And Lakshmana says, okay, there is a sage close by. His name is Bakadalbya. Right? This sage is so old and so learned that he's seen many Brahmas come and go. Right? Let's go and ask the same question to the sage Bakadalbya, and let's see if he can help give us an answer on how to cross this ocean. So Rama and Lakshmana, they go to this sage Bakadalbya, and they express their issue that they're facing, how to cross this ocean. And the sage, because he was so learned, he immediately realized that Lord Rama is nothing but the Supreme Personality of God himself, and for whatever reason is playing this role of a human being. So so he tells him, as a human being, what should one do if they want to get glory, success in their mission, what one should do. And he talks about Vijaya Ekadashi to them. Right? He says if you perform this Vijaya Ekadashi, success is guaranteed. So he explains a very detailed process of performing this Vijaya Ekadashi. Right? And not just not just the Ekadashi itself. After the Ekadashi is over, the next day, Dwadashi, how to break the fast. What should be done in the process before breaking the fast, or offer charity to Brahmanas. So this process of celebrating this Vijaya Ekadashi, not just Rama and Lakshmana, all his commanders in the army also followed this Vijaya Ekadashi. And ultimately, they became victorious. They were able to cross the ocean. Hanuman very nicely wrote Lord Rama's name and there's on the rocks and dropped it in the ocean, and that rock didn't submerge in the water, right? And ultimately, they were able to cross the ocean and get victory over Ravana, right? So we understand that even Rama, he followed Ekadashi in his form as a human being. When he came down, he also followed these vratas, right? So why does he have to follow these vratas? Any idea why would Lord Ram have to follow such vratas? Anyone who's read Bhagavad Gita might have heard
Yad
about
yad acharati shreshtas.
shtas. Yes, yad yad acharati shreshtas, tad tadeva
Tad,
tadeve taro janaha,
yes,
right?
Mataji.
Like great men act, other people will follow. And this act of Lord Rama performing Ekadashi Vrata, forget human beings around him, even the Vanaras who were helping him, they also did Ekadashi Vrata, right? And why did they do? To please Rama, right? And our mood should be like that of the Vanaras. We should do this Vrata to please the Lord. Victory, Vijaya, whatever the byproduct is of performing this Vrata, Upavasa, that is just a byproduct. But the actual reason why devotees perform these Ekadashi is to primarily please the Lord. Right? So, what is this Ekadashi? Where did it originate from? What is the process to follow when you're performing these kind of Ekadashi Vrata? Now, these kind of questions might come in your mind, especially for those who have started this Ekadashi for the first time or just recently started doing all these Ekadashis. Now, the same question was put out by Jaimini. Jaimini is a student of Vyasadeva. Okay, so Jaimini is a student of Vyasadeva, and he asked this exact question to Vyasadeva, asking how did the Ekadashi start, right? What's the process to follow? And Vyasadeva, hearing the questions from his disciple, he was very happy because this is the kind of question one should ask to a spiritual teacher. Okay, so he was very happy because he knew that especially in Kali Yuga, people may not have the intelligence also to ask such a question, right? Or they may not be interested to put out these kind of questions. So for the benefit of the people of Kali Yuga, Jaimini Rishi is asking these questions to Vyasadeva, and this conversation is recorded in Padma Purana. Okay, so this is the origin of Ekadashi, how Ekadashi was created. So this is a time when Krishna was in the process of creation. He created many universes. He created various systems to, manage the universes. And in that process, he also created a person called Papa Purusha. Okay, so this Papa Purusha is explained in Padma Purana. He had very horrible features. He looked very black. His eyes were all yellow, and his different limbs, it represented various sins. For his example, his head represented sin of killing a Brahmana, Brahmana Hatya, or Brahma Hatya as it's called. And that's a very wild kind of sin that has many reactions, a very worse kind of reaction. And his eyes represented intoxication. His mouth represented someone who steals gold, others' gold. Ears represented illicit relations. Like that, every limb represented different kind of sins, right? And why was this Papa Purusha required? What was his role? He was created so he can punish sinners. All this kind of sinners who plunder others, kill others, sleep with Guru Patni, this is all kind of horrible kind of sins. And this person was especially created to make sure these put through the proper process of punishment. Okay, so what this Papa Purusha would do, he'll take them to Yamaloka, arrange for the right kind of punishment, and he did his job very passionately with full dedication. Right, this was a job given to him, though it on paper it does look very very horrible, but he did this job because that was what the Lord had asked him to do. Right. So once Vishnu happened to visit Yamaloka, and as he was talking to Yama, he heard a lot of painful cries in the background. So he inquired with Yama. Yama is one of the Mahajanas. He inquired from Yama, what is happening over here? Why have so many people crying? So Yama mentioned that this is Papa Purusha who is punishing all the sinners. Right, and their cries was so heart-wrenchingly painful that hearing their cries, even Vishnu was finding it pitiful. He had a sudden compassion that came up in his heart, and from his compassion Ekadashi is born. So Ekadashi is born in compassion of because of Lord's compassion for all the sinners in the world. So when Lord Vishnu asked this lady, Ekadashi, who are you? She said, I'm Ekadasi. I'm one of your servants. Right? And I'm here to relieve all the sinners from their sin. So on this day of Ekadashi, if someone constantly chants the name of the Lord, they will be liberated from all their sins. Right? So this is how Ekadashi was born. Right, and when sinners heard about this wonderful news of the Ekadashi mercy, what they did, they all started chanting the names of the Lord, and immediately all their sins are wiped. So, and they were released from the clutches of Papa Purusha because of that. Right, now Papa Purusha is jobless. He was here existing to take care of the sinners, and now the sinners are, there's no sinners anyway, and sinners can just chant the name of the Lord and they are liberated from sins. So he goes back to Vishnu and says, look, you listen to Ekadashi Devi and you have relieved all the sinners from their sin, but now I have no work to do. What should I do? Vishnu says, now there's no need for you. You can go back. And so this Papa Purusha says, but where do I go? You are the shelter for everyone. Please give me shelter as well. So Vishnu says, in that case, on all non-Ekadashi, anyway, Papa Purusha is prominent, but on Ekadashi day, when Ekadashi appears, um, Papa Purusha can hide in grains. Okay, he can hide in grains. So anyone who accepts grains on Ekadashi, so Papa Purusha can take over them, can punish them, control them. So the ones who do not consume grains on Ekadashi, they are freed from all sins. But those who consume sins, it is considered the utmost kind of sinners. Right? Even one mouthful of grain eaten on Ekadashi is equivalent to killing millions of Brahmanas. It's that sinful. So to avoid these sins, one must avoid all kind of grains. So generally, it's said that Ekadashi, like you know, comes always on the 11th day of the lunar calendar, right? Both on the waxing and waning moon, Krishna and Shukla Paksha, it comes on the 11th day. Now, if you are someone who lives close to the ocean, you might have noticed that anyway around the 10th and the 12th day, between the 10th, 11th, 12th day, the ocean waves are very turbulent. The waves get bigger, more crashier, it looks very erratic. Why is that? Because of the influence of the moon. The moon has influence on the water, and because of that, the oceans get bigger and more erratic. Similarly, our body is made of 75% water. And for a person who eats grains closer to Ekadashi, what happens? The water gets, the grains have a property of trapping water. Right? Our body is anyway made of 75% water, but because of the grains that we consume on Ekadashi, more water gets trapped in our body. So what happens? Our mind, our body is easily influenced by the moon, the waning and waxing moon. And there are high chances that people who consume grains closer to Ekadashi, they also start behaving erratically like the ocean as well. So there's influence of moon. This is the astronomical impact of consuming grains on Ekadashi. So generally, one who's doing Ekadashi should fast at least for 36 hours. right? 36 hours how? From the time of Dashami, 10th day, uh, finish your dinner by sunset. So say by 6:37 you finish your dinner, do not have any further grain after that, right? So you continue your fasting the whole of Ekadashi, and then you on Dwadashi morning, whatever the Parana time is, you break your fast, which is close to 36 hours. So a good fasting, Ekadashi fasting, should be for 36 hours. Okay. And this way, when you do not have grains in your system on Ekadashi, your behavior is more rational, more sattvic, right? And for those who are doing Ekadashi, there are 3 levels of Ekadashi. I'll quickly run into it since we are talking on Ekadashi. There are 3 levels of Ekadashi. One can do Ekadashi with no water, Nirjal it's called, right? The second level is, there are 4 levels. The second level is Sajal, with water, okay? And the third level is Safal, with fruits. And the fourth level is with Anukalpa. Now I'll tell you what is what. Nirjal, as the word says, it's without water, right? You don't consume water at all for that 36 hours. So what happens usually, this form of Nirjal, though many people do it, it may not be the most feasible form of fasting for many, because people who have digestive issues or acidity in their stomach, fasting for too long, the acids in your stomach increase, right? Which means the inner line of your stomach then gets ruptured or hurt. So people who have digestive issues should avoid Nirjal, right? And also they should always do Sajal, drink lot of lukewarm water throughout the day, because in that way the acids that are collected in our body also get flushed out. Okay, so Sajal is a good option for people who have digestive issues. Now, Safal is fruit juices, fruits, right? Vegetables, anything natural, right? Or dry fruits. Or Anukalpa is, people who cannot do just fruits, they might do other things like the Singada attas, or Sabudhana, or they might do quinoa kind of thing. So these are few things that are allowed to be eaten. No grains, no pulses, no corns, no beans, right? So other than that, some people, I hear them saying, can we have broken rice? No, broken rice is still grain, so you can't have it on Ekadashi. No maida, no. Actually, there was one interesting question. Maybe a young girl who asked me this question. She asked me, I had veg puffs in the afternoon, and after that I had some kind of milkshake. So is that considered as a Ekadashi fasting, because I did not eat anything else? So what people don't realize, when we say grains, they think it's rice, something that looks like a grain or a wheat. No, even maida in the powder form is still grain, right? Or when you're eating ice cream, if it has corn powder in it, that is still grain. So all these things should be avoided. What can be eaten is fruits, dry fruits, vegetables. So things like this can be consumed, or milk products. This can be consumed. And if you have to use oil, use some ghee, some coconut oil, oils that don't have mixing or refining going on, right? And always have your special packet of basic masala, salt, chili powder, turmeric, some very basic. You don't have to have elaborate garam masalas, and use very little masalas in your cooking for Ekadashi. Okay, so that's how you perform your Ekadashi. So remember, fasting is done not just for spiritual upliftment, it's also done for your overall good health. In fact, there was a Nobel Prize award in 2008. It was given to a group of scientists. They, through all their research, they came up with this conclusion that for a person who fasts once in 15 days, their life longevity increases. This is exactly what we do in Ekadashi, right? So, fasting is not just for spiritual upliftment, it is also for your overall good health. So whoever wants good health, at least for that sake, start fasting, right? Or further, if you want spiritual upliftment, removal of sins, that's an even better reason to fast. right? But above and beyond that, the real reason to fast is to please Krishna, right? So that is about Vijaya Ekadashi. Now, the past time I told about Lord Ram, we saw how he consulted a guru. Even Jaimini is asking questions to his guru Vyasadeva to understand the importance of Ekadashi. So any kind of material problem, we have a lot of material problems, but if the solution for that material problem comes from a guru, then the solution is transcendental, right? It oversees, supersedes the limitations of material clutches, the boundaries, and this guru will give you some set of rules, regulations that you need to follow, which will in turn free us from this kind of bondage, right? So anything that a guru offers you is transcendental. Now, what is the meaning of this word guru? The guru has two parts to it, gu and ru. Gu means ignorance. Ru is removal. One who removes ignorance is guru, right? There's a nice pastime that Srila Prabhupada talks about. It's not really a pastime, but just listen to out. There's a verse that goes, Keshavam patitam drishtva Pandava harsha nirbara. Keshavam patitam drishtva, right? What does that mean? Keshava is Krishna. Keshavam patitam, when Krishna fell down, after seeing Krishna fall, Pandava harsha nirbara. Pandava started laughing, right? Rudanti Kaurava sarve. And all the Kauravas are crying, ha ha Keshava, ha ha Keshava, right? So if you do a literal translation of the words, it says when Krishna fell, Pandavas are laughing, Kauravas cried. So whatever happened, right? So if we try to understand this verse, just reading it like that without supervision of a guru, then we can make any meaning we want. Like we can say Krishna fell, Pandavas laughed, which can never happen. That's not the mood of Pandavas or Kauravas, right? And how can Krishna fall, even if he did, right? So this pastime never happened. But if you try to understand this verse from a guru, the actual meaning is like this: Keshava Patita. Keshava is, Shava is a dead body. K is on the water. A dead body is floating on the water. Okay, so Keshava Patita. So a dead body is fallen and is floating on the surface of the water. Now Pandava Harsha Nirbara. The word Pandava here is referring to, it's also called fishes, all the aquatic beings in the water, right? So that they are called Pandava in Sanskrit, right? So the fishes are happy. They saw a dead body floating and they're thinking, okay, so much food now. They are happy, right? Rudhanti Kaurava Sarve. Kaurava here refers to any animal whose crying sound is sounds inauspicious, like the wolves, jackals, right? When they howl, they sound inauspicious. So Rudhanti, so all the wolves and jackals, they started crying. Okay. Um, and why are the wolves crying? Because they see a dead body. If the dead body was on land, that would have been their food, but they miss this food now because it's in the water. So looking at that, they're crying, oh, dead body, it's floating, the dead body is floating, right? So the real meaning of a Shastra can be learned only from a guru. Only if you're under the guru's protection, he will tell you. Without guru, we cannot make our own, what we'll do is we'll make our own conclusions and we'll live in oblivion, right? Nobody will correct us. We'll be happy in our own silos thinking we know everything. But only for a one who has approached a real guru, right? For them, the real knowledge of Shastras are revealed. Otherwise, if you don't approach a guru, whatever our level of understanding is, we'll say that we understood everything. But a person who has higher level of realization, when you're asking these questions to him, they will reveal knowledge that we are not even exposed to. So that is the importance of a guru. A guru will give us the true meaning of the Shastras without any kind of adulteration, without mixing the meaning, right? So that's the position of a guru. Can you still see my screen fine? My video is
Yes.
fine? Okay.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now let's further understand the position of a guru, because this verse, especially Vijaya Ekadashi, we're talking about success. How does one get success, right? We'll talk about few examples here. Since many of you have studied Bhagavad Gita at this point, we'll talk again about Bhagavad Gita as a reference. Okay, so what happens in chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna is very confused, right? He's telling Krishna, take me to the middle of the battlefield. So what is Arjuna's mood before he went to the middle of the battlefield? He's expressing a desire to Krishna. Krishna, here's my desire. Take me to the center. I'll assess what is going on around me. And with my Gandiva, I'll fix the situation. So he's just expressing a desire. He's not seeking help from Krishna, right? He's thinking, I can fix this myself initially, right? I have my Gandiva who can face me. If a Gandiva is in my hand, that's my strength. I will fix this situation, right? Now, this mentality that Arjuna has before, the whole Bhagavad Gita conversation started, that mentality is exactly like everyone in the world has towards the Lord. They might know that Krishna is God, but they may not be ready to surrender to Krishna, right? They want Krishna to only fulfill their desires. Give me this, give me that, but anything else I'll solve, right? You don't have to interfere. That's my life. I'll do this, I'll do that. But if I want something, I'll go to Krishna and ask for desire, right? So till the point you're not ready to surrender to Krishna and you're only reaching out to Krishna to fulfill your material desires, you're still stuck in chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. Now, what happens when we transition to chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna is ready to surrender, right? He's saying, okay, forget about my desires. You take control of my chariot and tell me what I need to do. You don't have to listen to my desires. He has surrendered. He's given full control to Krishna in chapter 2. Right now, Krishna, what he does before he starts instructing Arjuna, he shouts at Arjuna, saying, "This is what kind of an-arya behavior is this? Right? Why are you behaving with so much, weakness?" So Arjuna but did Arjuna give up at that point? What if Arjuna had said, "Why just ask you for suggestion? Why are you talking to me like this?" Bhagavad Gita would have never been spoken then, right? If that's a mood when you approach your acharya, if you feel that the acharya should be very sweet to you, should be very respectful, don't expect all this. Even if that acharya is not very sweet to you, still tolerate it, and still beg for that kind of knowledge. Because what is happening here is the guru is testing to see your sincerity, right? Only when, just give me a second. Only when a person is hungry, only then can the food get digested, right? Only when the seed can fructify, only if the land is fertile, right? So when you surrender to a guru, you should be in so much desperation to receive that knowledge, right? The day we tell Krishna, Krishna, you don't have to listen to my desires, just take control of my life and I'll do whatever you want, that is when Krishna takes control. And that's a mood when surrendering to any guru as well. Okay, that's the mood we need to be when surrendering to a guru. So what is the position of a guru, right? Can we directly approach Krishna without a guru? Let's try to understand. Think of a bonfire. There's a big fire, right? Can you touch the fire directly? Can any of you touch the fire directly with your hand?
No, Mataji.
It's not possible. Now, fire is just a small energy of Krishna. It's a small expansion of the energy of Krishna. So if we cannot touch Krishna's energy, how do we think we can touch the energetic, the Krishna himself, right? So what do we do if you want to touch fire? Maybe we'll take a piece of wood, which is dry, is ready to get burnt. Okay, it's a dry piece. The quality of the wood is also important. The wood should not be wet. It should not be a young wood. It should be a aged, mature wood, right? And this wood will easily catch fire. And with that wood, which is lit with fire, we can now touch fire directly, right? Now this fire represents Krishna and the wood represents Guru, right? So the via media to reach out to Krishna is always a guru. We cannot touch fire directly. We cannot go to Krishna directly. We have to go via media, the guru. Okay. And without guru, no one can approach Krishna. You can further understand this if you think of a telescope. Okay. What does a telescope do? There's a far distant object, right? Let's say another planet or some constellation. You want to see that with a telescope. You see through a telescope something that is invisible to your naked eyes suddenly looks like it's very close by, right? How does the telescope work? It has a series of lenses within it, right? The first lens will capture the image, expand it, throw the light to the second lens, and the second lens will further expand it, throw the light to the third. So like this, by the time that image reaches our eyes, it looks like it's a big object, right? So though it's very far, because of the series of lens within the telescope, now this object looks very close by. Similarly, this is what a guru does to us, right? Our guru is not just the one guru that you talk to. Our guru is a series of guru parampara, right? Right from Brahma, Narada, Vyasadeva, Madhvacharya, so many gurus in our Guru Parampara, all of them have been passing this knowledge to us, right? And because they have been able to do that, we are able to see Krishna like he's so close by. Otherwise, Krishna seems like someone he's very distant. He's non-existent in our life. We can't even understand Krishna, but because of the presence of a guru, he magnifies, he educates us on the position of Krishna, right? And this way he tells us how every jiva is dependent on Krishna, right? So this is what the position of a guru is. So guru is one who gives us the absolute knowledge transparently, right? He does not manipulate the message. He does not adulterate the message. He gives the message transparently like he heard it from his guru, right? He's not opaque. He's not putting his own flavor to the message. He hears the message from his guru. He understands it. He applies it, and then he passes on the same message to his disciple. So this is how, in case there's a situation why Krishna had to come and recite the Bhagavad Gita, it can happen if one of the gurus in the Guru Parampara tried to adulterate the message, then the clarity of the message is lost, right? And this is why Krishna in between had to come and recite the Bhagavad Gita. Now, Krishna is being very merciful here to make sure that the message of Bhagavad Gita is not lost. He still continued to give an opportunity to each of us to understand Bhagavad Gita in this way, understand him, and then have a desire within us to go back to him, right? So like we read in recently read, Krishna is he's reclaiming us. He's reclaiming our jivas. He is coming. All of us originally come from him, and he, in the process of sharing this Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, he's trying to reclaim us, right? So he's trying to take us back to him. So that's what Krishna is doing. He's mercifully, very tolerantly trying to take us back. And the position of Krishna is reflected by that of a guru. We cannot reach Krishna directly, but a guru plays the role of what we should treat Krishna like. The kind of prayer, the devotion that we have to Krishna, we should have the same devotion to a guru. Now, what kind of questions should one ask a guru? Right? A guru, he's sarvagyani. He knows everything, right? But a guru should not be asked material questions, right? Who is the president of this country? Or is my stocks going to go up or down tomorrow? Or my child and his higher education, will it happen or not? What is the speed or mileage of that car versus this? Or will my husband get a better job? Will we have a house in future? Yeah, there is a science that talks about astrology, about all that, but that astrology, that kind of question is not what you engage a guru with. The guru is not here to solve your material problems, right? One time there's a there's a famous magician called PC Sarkar. I'm not sure if any of you heard about him, PC Sarkar. Have you heard about him? He's quite a famous magicians of the 80s and 60s,
Yes, Mataji.
right? So
Yes,
this,
Mataji.
yeah, so this PC Sarkar, he was a magician and he's world famous, right? And he specially organized the magic show for Srila Prabhupada. So what he's doing, he's pulling a rabbit from his hat, he's pulling a coin from behind Srila Prabhupada's ears, he's making things disappear. And Srila Prabhupada is nicely laughing, giggling like a small child. He's watching the whole show and he's appreciating the performance. Now, after the show was over, PC Sarkar approached Srila Prabhupada and asked, how did you like the show, right? He obviously thought that Srila Prabhupada enjoyed it so much, so he'll say all good words. But Srila Prabhupada said, it was all good, but I can do better magic than you. So PC Sarkar is very confused. He's curious now. How is that possible? Is there any magic that I cannot do? So he curiously asked Srila Prabhupada, can you please explain what you meant? So Srila Prabhupada says, can you remove human from the cycle of life and death? I can, right? So that's a real position of a guru. Guru is not here to remove us from our material challenges. He's here to take us back to Krishna, right? Nobody else can take us back to Krishna but a guru, right? Many times we approach gurus with some small material issues. We tell them we have this thing, that thing, can you help us? Things are not working, pray for us. Yeah, he can pray for you, but that's not the intent of a guru, right? He's not for material upliftment, he's for spiritual upliftment. So ask the guru questions like, who am I? What is the purpose of my life? How do I evolve from this state of existence? How do I approach Krishna? Ask such kind of questions to a guru. So when you are approaching a guru, the kind of questions you ask and the kind of response you get, a guru is as good as the questions you put to him, right? So guru is perfect, but if your questions are not evolved enough, you cannot get the best from your guru, right? When Sanatana Goswami met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he surrendered to his feet and he said, I've lived for so many years, but I still don't know what's the purpose of my life, and after death, what happens to me when I die, right? He fell at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and begged for enlightenment. So finding a guru who can give you real knowledge is very rare, right? Very few people in today's world even have a desire to approach a guru, right? Then, and if they finally do decide to approach a guru, they might find some gurus who will divert them with from the real purpose of the human life with all kind of flowery words, right? Because such so-called gurus may not always interested in the spiritual growth of their followers. They may be more interested in taking the money from the pockets of the devotees, right? So a real guru who is actually interested, who's in the spiritual growth of his disciples, such a guru is very rare to find, right? He's not interested in his own material progress, right? He's uncompromising in the way he delivers the message of the Lord. And his only motive is to remove the distress and give true knowledge to his disciples. So this guru only wants to remove the disciples' distress and expose them to something higher, right? So that is a real reason a guru exists. Once you find a guru like that, you should immediately surrender, right? Completely surrender. Listen to them. Follow their rules and regulations they tell you to follow. This is the only path back to Goloka. And this is a less cumbersome path back to Goloka, in fact, right? There may be many people who say, do this, make this offering, do this. No, doesn't have to be that stressful. All you need to do is follow the instructions, whichever sampradaya you are aligned to, which is ours is Gaudiya Madhva Brahma Sampradaya. So if you have aligned to this, listen to the gurus. You have many options. And how to identify a good guru? There are two characteristics. First characteristics is stotrium. Stotrium must be knowledgeable, but knowledge based on shastras. So everything he speaks must be in line with the shastras, right? And which means to say, when it's in line with the shastra, it's exactly what Krishna is saying. They're not saying their own thing. So they're well educated, but education is based on shastras. Nowadays, in current world, we have a lot of modern gurus. they will never quote Shastra or say a good thing about Krishna. They will be very worldly educated, right? They'll sound very well informed. They know about all the worldly issues, big and small, and they can talk about many worldly issues like that. But if you ask them direct spiritual questions, they'll never give a concrete, a solid answer that can satisfy you, right? So there are many gurus like that. But a guru, his real motive is to not give answers to our material problems. A guru is one who gives answers to spiritual problems, right? The answers given by such a Sadguru. Sadguru is not just by name, but by character, right? Such a Sadguru, he will ultimately show us the complete truth, as Krishna is saying it. So every guru must speak only the truth, must be very knowledgeable in the Shastras, and should uproot all the doubts in our heart from the root, not just on the surface level, from the root. So the first quality of a guru is stotrium, okay, knowledgeable in the Shastra. Now, what's the second characteristic? He must have Brahmanishtam. Brahmanishtam means not just theoretically understand that Krishna is the supreme, but he should have understood, practically experienced, and realized this knowledge about Krishna, right? Think of a doctor. If a doctor has just learned, finished his MBBS, he studied it theoretically, that this is what I do, this is how I cut, chop medicines. He's learned it all theoretically. Would you go to such a doctor? Would you go to such a doctor who's just studied medicines? He doesn't has no practical experience of being a doctor,
No,
right?
Mataji.
We won't.
No.
Yes. So if you want to find a good doctor, we'll find a doctor who has good experience in the field, who has years of practice working on this issue, right? You'll go to that. So a guru who should be Brahmanishtam, which means to say he is learned, he's applied the knowledge, he's realized the truth from his own experience, and is in completely, and such a guru who has Brahmanishtam is very rare to find in this world. So these are the two characteristics of a guru. Now, what is the role of a guru? Like when you're reading all the spiritual books, many of us have started reading Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. There are a lot of spiritual philosophies explained in these books, right? We talk about Maya Tattva, we talk about Jiva Tattva, we talk about Prema Tattva, Rasa Tattva, or Shiva Tattva, and finally we talk about Bhagavad Tattva. Now these are various philosophies and the conclusions of each philosophy. Now, what is that one thing that brings all these philosophies together is the Guru Tattva. For example, Jiva Tattva, which is us, right? You and I are Jivas. How do we connect to the Bhagavad Tattva? It's via the Guru Tattva, correct? The Guru has to be in between. When the Jiva and Bhagwan is connected, then the Lord will shower his mercy, and then from there, Bhakti Tattva starts. And as Bhakti Tattva evolves, it becomes Prema Tattva, it becomes Rasa Tattva. So all of these other tattvas will make sense only if Guru Tattva is in the center of it. He's the one who's a backbone. He's connecting all this, and he's explaining all these tattvas in a way that it becomes sensible to us, right? Which is why without a guru, like the example of a firewood that I gave, without the Guru Tattva, till that Guru Tattva is not established, then the Jiva will never achieve Krishna. Not possible at all. We'll never go back to Goloka without the presence of a guru in our life. So who is this guru for us? It is Srila Prabhupada. He is the original guru. He is the original guru. Now, many of us might be initiated by very different gurus within ISKCON, but the original guru still remains Srila Prabhupada, because all of us, he could be the various Maharajas initiated by Srila Prabhupada who are now initiating others, or you and some others who are not initiated yet or might be aspiring to get initiated. All of us are getting our education from the books written by Srila Prabhupada, right? So So everyone is preaching, expanding their their own disciple group based on the knowledge that Srila Prabhupada has given from his books. So this is why Srila Prabhupada will always be the original guru, and he'll be the grand acharya. While my own initiating guru, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, so he is the via media for me to connect to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada will take me directly to Krishna through his books, right? So that's the position of the initiating guru and the original guru. So in ISKCON, there are 3 types of gurus today. We know about Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru. There's one more type of guru called Pat Pradakshaka Guru or Vartamana Pradakshaka Guru. Now, this Vartamana Pradakshaka Guru is one who initially brings you to Krishna, right? It could be your parents, right? I know that I was brought to Krishna consciousness by my husband. So he's my Vartamana Pradakshaka Guru, right? Who directs me to Krishna consciousness. Or it could be other friends of yours, or could be associates, or people when in ISKCON as well, who initially said, okay, why don't you buy this book, right? And they will inspire you in the path of Krishna consciousness. So that first guru who takes you in the direction of Krishna consciousness, who inspires you to be in Krishna consciousness, he is the Pat Pradakshaka Guru or Vartamana Pradakshaka Guru. Then there's the Shiksha Guru. Now the Shiksha Guru concept is very important in our lives. One can have multiple Shiksha Gurus, right? Shiksha is education, right? You can take education of Krishna consciousness from as many gurus as possible. But there's one condition. The guru that you follow, the sampradaya that you follow, all the gurus should be within that sampradaya. It's not that, one guru you pick up from Mayavada sampradaya, one from Vaishnava sampradaya. No. This is an incorrect way of surrendering to a guru. One should once you accept a guru or a sampradaya, only listen to the gurus within that sampradaya. There are many devotees who have done the mistake of listening about Krishna from here, there, everywhere. They'll go to some Babas, they'll go to Mayavadis, they'll go to some Sahajiyas, and they'll pick up different moods of being devotees of Krishna. Ultimately, what happens? They get confused, right? And they completely give up on Krishna consciousness. So when you're listening, to Shiksha Gurus, listen to the gurus within the same sampradaya. Our sampradaya is the Gaudiya Brahma Madhva sampradaya. So you can have as many Shiksha Gurus. There's no limit, okay? Or even if you are not within the Gaudiya Brahma Madhva sampradaya, there is other 3 sampradayas. There's Rudra sampradaya, there's Kumara sampradaya, and there's Sri sampradaya. These are also authorized sampradayas to be associated within the Vaishnava organization, right? So, but once you select a certain sampradaya, stick to that sampradaya and learn specifically from that sampradaya, because that will be less confusion, right? Because within Vaishnava sampradayas also here and there, there'll be some mismatches, and that should not bewilder you, right? So it's safe for you to safely protect your Bhakti Lata Bija, to stick to a certain sampradaya. When you have made your choice, stick to that sampradaya. And whenever you get the opportunity to meet these Shiksha Gurus personally, don't forget to offer their gratitude. You may or may not meet them personally. Today in the world of internet, many of us are listening to many acharyas online. So if you ever get the chance to thank them, offer your gratitude, do that. Now, the third type of guru is the Diksha Guru, the one who offers you the chanting beads, Diksha beads, and gives you and initiates you into the parampara, right? So once you get initiated, then the word of the guru must be followed without any kind of hesitation, right? Usually a guru does not give order. They do not give direct orders. That's the mood of a guru as well, because once the guru gives a direct order, not following the order becomes guru aparadh. So to avoid that, usually gurus might give you certain suggestions. But if a guru has given you direct orders, then that must be followed, right? Whether it's Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, it must be followed, right? There are many examples of how gurus, there are many examples, like in Srimad Bhagavatam, when you go canto to canto, Right at Canto 1, you can see that Vyasadeva is disturbed, and his guru, Narada, he comes to dissolve his disturbance and motivate him to write Srimad Bhagavatam. The whole Magnus Opus literature of Srimad Bhagavatam comes from the inspiration of a guru. Now, as you go further in Canto 3, you can see how Mother Devahuti, she's listening to her son Kapila Muni, and she's accepted Kapila Muni as her spiritual teacher, and she's asking questions, right? The right kind of questions. And Kapila Muni is explaining Sankhya Yoga to her, right? So age does not matter. The guru can be younger than you. What matters is the knowledge within. Then further, when you go to Canto 4, Dhruva Maharaj, he's taken shelter of Narada and he attains the Supreme Lord. Similarly, in chapter 5, Prachini Barhi, he's instructed by Narada and he also attains the Supreme Lord. In chapter I think chapter 4 also, you can see here stories of how the Pracheta brothers, they took instructions from Lord Shiva, the Rudra Gita, right? And they are delivered. They get liberation as well. And further in chapter 5, you hear the story of Bharat Maharaj. He did not take Guru Ashraya. He was in the Bhava stage of Bhakti, but he didn't take Guru Ashraya. And then he fell down by getting attracted to a deer, right? So in Canto 6, we talk about how if you do not, if you have a guru but you don't follow him, then you're like Ajamila. These are all nice pastimes that you see in Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, somebody was asking, why should we read Srimad Bhagavatam? This is to understand the Lord. Everything in Srimad Bhagavatam is so nicely explaining about the different pastimes. So it's a nice way to understand the Lord, right? What is, through the stories of his devotees, is telling us what is our mood to surrender and how the guru becomes the via media. Now, as you go further, you see Canto 8, we talk about Bali Maharaj who rejected his guru, Shukracharya, because the guru said, do not surrender to the Lord. Now, as you go further, Canto 9 and 10, we talk about Lord Ram, Krishna, and Lord Ram, he had two gurus, Vishwamitra and Vashishta. Though he is the Supreme Lord himself, he still accepted the guru. Then in Krishna Leela, we have Sandipani Muni and Bhagori Rishi. These are gurus of Krishna, right? And further, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, even Lord Chaitanya had two gurus, Keshava Bharati and Ishwara Puri. So these are all lords appearing in the personal form, and everyone, and even they accepted, though they are known as Jagat Guru, the highest of all gurus. Krishna is Jagat Guru, so he doesn't need a guru, but still when he comes on material earth, he accepts a guru. And what he's doing, he's serving the gurus, right? So like this, when we serve our spiritual master, right, then Krishna, who is in the heart of the spiritual master, is given as a gift to the disciple. And this is the only way to get Krishna in our heart, right? Without a guru, there is no Krishna. There's no Krishna consciousness, right? We can make our own conclusions on, this guru, that philosophy, but the guru is the only one who can actually give you the true meaning of the Shastras, the true meaning of all the rules and regulations that we need to follow, why they need to be followed, right? So in summary, let's summarize what we heard. A spiritual guru is very rare to find in the material world. So one must surrender and ask only meaningful questions connected to spiritual growth from the guru. The guru might listen to your material problems, but it does not mean that he's an expert with material solutions, right? So don't expect that kind of, when you're asking questions, ask them questions pertinent to spiritual growth. And only a guru can show us the real meaning of Shastras, show us the absolute truth or the meaning of your life. How do we connect to Krishna? A guru will give you some certain rules and regulations, and rules and regulations are important, right? Why? Because rules and regulations are putting restrictions on our human life. Without restrictions, if you're living an unrestricted life, then we're as good as animals, right? So guru is giving us rules and regulations. In ISKCON, we have 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling. And then we have to chant a minimum of 16 rounds. These are rules given by Srila Prabhupada to us. So anyone who's in ISKCON today will follow these 4 regulative principles and do minimum of 16 rounds of chanting every day. Why are these rules and regulations given? It is to help us control our senses, right? When you keep follow these regulations, then our urges to indulge in these material sense gratificatory activities, it will reduce, right? So this way, when our senses, our urges of the senses are reduced, we have better control on our senses. Ekadashi Vrata, Ekadashi is 11, right? Ekadashi Vrata is done to control the 11 senses. We have the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, we have the 5 working senses, and then we have the mind. When you do Ekadashi Vrata, all these senses get controlled. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told his mother, Sachi Devi, even if you don't follow any austerities, still just follow Ekadashi Vrata. Do the Ekadashi Upavasa. That's all you need to do. So the word Upavasa, we should understand the literal translation of the word Upavasa. Upa is come closer. To Vasa is to the Lord's abode. Come closer to the Lord's abode, right? That's the meaning of what. So a person who performs Ekadashi Vrata, his sins are resolved and he comes closer to the Lord's abode. But even while performing his austerities, without a guru, you cannot still achieve Krishna. We need to surrender to a guru, follow his achara, vichara. We need to take bath in the instructions given by the guru, and only then that is true surrender. Krishna, in fact, says his devotees are not his devotees, but the devotees of his devotees, right? So we need to be devotees of our guru. To become a real devotee of Krishna, we need to be devotees of our guru. Nobody can reach Krishna directly without a guru. The guru is the only one who can take us back to Krishna, and that guru will have his own guru, right? So he will be depending on his guru to take him back to Krishna. So like this, we have a chain that connects us directly to Krishna. So without a guru, all the austerities that we do, it just becomes a ritual. Without a guru, all austerities are just rituals. But when we have certain austerities that we do under the instructions of a guru, that becomes spiritual, right? Only if austerities are done under the instructions of a guru, that becomes spiritual. So with that, we'll end our class today for Vijaya Ekadashi. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions for today before we end? Everyone is awake?
Hare Krishna Mataji, we cannot sleep in your class, don't worry.
Jay, thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, just small. Mataji, Krishna, you said had two gurus, right?
Yes.
So we don't know much about the other guru. Could you just, if possible?
I also need to research a little more. I know.
This is the first time,
Yes. Yes.
so many things you pick up when you hear a class.
I'll find out the answer on the second guru and give that information to you.
Yes,
Yes.
Mataji. Even I'll go through the source. Thank you.
Any other
Hare
questions?
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, what are the initial steps for making a Shiksha Guru?
There's no formal steps for Shisha Guru. You can pick up their books. You can, read their books or, online classes. So whoever is inspiring you, right? Whoever you're learning from, they become your Shiksha Guru. There's no formal fire sacrifice or, oath-taking ceremony, nothing. Right? I have so many Shiksha Gurus, and I listen to their classes. I read their books, online interactions, whatever happens, live classes, I attend their classes. And so I'm learning through them. So Shiksha is teacher, right? Anyone who gives us knowledge is
Diksha Guru?
Diksha Guru is a longer process. In fact, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says that while taking a Diksha Guru, it could be one of your Shiksha Gurus, right? who you formally request to initiate, but at least take some time to understand the guru, the mood of the guru. If your mood aligns with that guru, right? If their intentions of preaching, the way they are preaching, if that's something that even you want to contribute to, right? So take time for that. Understand the personality of the guru. There's a various ways. Attend their classes, take shelter, go through the temple. We have a process of requesting shelter. So you can stay connected with the Gita Gyan group, right? So like I said, there's a chain of steps that you need to do to improve your spiritual understanding to begin with. You need to read certain books. You need to go through different levels of surrender to Krishna. And at one point, when you feel that you're ready for Guru Ashraya, we let you know, you can do your research on what guru works for you. And if you can connect with that guru and take shelter, we'll facilitate that as well.
Hare Krishna Mataji, one more
Okay,
question.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Revati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
This
Krishna Mataji,
question, I know it might be a little lame, but
Yeah.
I get the answer, but I don't know how to follow it. Getting to know is something, and I think that understanding and processing is another platform. The four principles which was mentioned, the base of ISKCON, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting into the meat eating, letting
Yeah.
out the meat eating process is taking quite a long time. I've been since more than 5 years now.
Okay.
Trying to do so, and
Okay.
I won't say I have not succeeded but whatever that we were doing earlier is come down to a level.
Okay.
It was not like it was before.
Yes.
Like I'm able to follow Chaturmasam and those things are there. But
So
still,
for the 4 months, you don't have
no,
non-veg.
we don't touch anything.
Okay. Okay.
I made it a point to continue for a year, and then
Yeah.
again my son wanted to school. He has his friends who tempt him a lot, and he gets tempted and comes
Yes.
home. And my husband and we had no other go with relations, and everything happens. And these are the lamest excuses I myself I think, because if I am very strict, or if I stick to close my senses in that matter, I should at least stay without eating, but I also
Yes.
fall prey to it. So I can't just throw the excuses on others. What I wanted to ask you is how more I could control this. I want to give up this meat eating, and I want to take Diksha.
Okay.
I very much wanted to take it from Jayapataka Guru Maharaj. I'm an aspiring devotee, and
Okay.
I feel ashamed to say that because, it's been 5 years, I couldn't do any progress. But I don't know how to control it further, Mataji. Hearing and it does, that time it is okay. But
Right.
the understanding and the processing, it takes hell amount of a time.
Yes. Well, Revati Mataji, I understand your intentions, right? And your honest appeal to the desire to surrender to Krishna. However, can I ask a follow-up question? What have you done to increase? I know you have a desire to give up, but what is your level of association with devotees today?
Yeah,
Are
that
you
is
part of Bhakti Vrikshas? Are you reading regularly? Are you chanting regularly?
Yes, Mataji. Actually, I don't have in-person devotees association as such. I crave to have a devotees association.
Are you from Bangalore, Mataji?
Yeah, I am from Bangalore. I
Okay.
come to Seshadripuram temple now and then.
Yes.
The problem is I get sick very often, Mataji. Sick in the sense it's not just a cough and cold. I
Yeah.
can't
Understand.
move for at least 15 days or something like that. I can't travel. If I come to Seshadripuram temple, I can't sit for more than 5
Yes.
minutes. Severe
So the
back
good
pain.
news for you, Mataji, is we have a lot of online associations right now,
Yes, I'm
right?
taking Mataji.
And even programs within Sheshadripuram temple or Mayapur temple or Vrindavan, the classes are online and live all the time. So you don't really have to come to the temple because of your physical limitations, but there's no one single answer to how to improve your reduce
Sense
your
control.
there's not one single, because sense control is controlling all your five senses, right? Constantly engaging them in Krishna. When you're constantly engaging, associating with devotees, you feel it's called the group mentality, right? When you see 20 people are talking the same thing, they are being ecstatic in just being the presence of Krishna and doing things for Krishna, right? But you're not able to do it because you eat meat. Then when your desire to serve Krishna is so much, then you say, no, if just this thing is stopping me from serving Krishna, then why should I eat meat? Right? It's your internal desire that's shortcome right now, but we should uh, increase our desire, engage our senses, and keep in association of devotees. Read more, come more to classes like this, read more, sing the songs of
Bhagavatam,
the
Bhagavad
Lord.
Gita.
Yes,
Sorry to interrupt,
it's
Mataji.
not just about reading, it's about realizing what you're reading.
Yes.
Right. Why are these four regulative principles there? Because it's a way to reduce our sins, right? Papa Purusha, his eyes is intoxication. So if you're using intoxication, you're falling directly into the trap of Papa Purusha. If you're eating meat that is killing animals, cutting them from the progressive life of evolution, then you're incurring sins, right? So be part of this learning process and pray to Krishna, continue your chanting with full focus. It's a evolving process. It's not an overnight cold turkey, can't happen, right?
Yes,
So
Mataji.
you have to not just read, but realize what you're reading, right? You need to have the desire. Like I said, knowledge will come when you have the hunger. Only then food gets digested. The real hunger should be within you, right? If that hunger is not there today, then your craving for Krishna is not enough yet,
Okay.
right? So increase your craving to be with Krishna. I know devotees who just gave up cooking onion garlic because their love for Guru was so much. The Guru said, no, I'm not coming to your house because you cook onion garlic. And that day they stopped onion garlic. That's your love for Guru, right?
Yeah, Mataji. I
So,
lack that very badly.
so the important part is Guru Brahmanishta comes when not just knowing, theoretical knowledge is not enough. It comes when you realize what you have learned. You live the life that you learned. For some, it might take a few ages. The good news is you've started on the path. The desire has started. The desire that you have within you is transcendental today, right? So that desire, if not in this life, in the next life. And don't worry, there will be many of us, all of us will go through many, many lives, right? But if you from here on make a sincere desire that I will cut down on these things because I have to control my senses. If not, there's no way back for Krishna. I'll have to come back. In my Gita Gyan classes, I keep threatening people on what happens if you take birth in Kali Yuga again. After a few lakh years, if you take birth in Kali Yuga, what is the state of Kali Yuga if you have to come back here, right? All of us are going through doing some severe ugra karma right now because we are doing so much, building houses, building factories, we are digging, we are spoiling oceans, we are spoiling seas, we're doing so much ugra karma. So we will take birth in Kali Yuga, and unfortunately, if we have to come back to Kali Yuga, that means we'll have to live through worse stages of Kali Yuga. Just 5,000 years in Kali Yuga, we're already struggling, right? Imagine 1 lakh years later, if you are born again in Kali Yuga, what is the state of Kali Yuga going to be? Our only hope then, Mataji, is in this life. If we can stop ourselves from all this activities that is distracting us from Krishna, just put a sincere endeavor, right? Just see what happens, right? Sometimes if you do it for, like if you did for 4 months, just think of it, after 4 months, if you had to eat non-veg again, I'm sure there's a lot of initial resistance, right? Your consciousness is telling you it's okay, we can live without it. But once you have that taste back, then you go back to the practice, right? There are so many people's, can you think of foreigners who have just eaten non-veg through their whole life? They're on drugs and whatnot. But because Srila Prabhupada said, leave all that, they left. Because of their love for Srila Prabhupada. So that sincere love for Krishna, for your Guru, for Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, that should happen. If that comes naturally, then all of this will fall in place. So try to increase your love for Guru and Bhagwan. Practice more. Practice with more dedication. Do your chanting more sincerely, full focus, no distraction. Just by the process of chanting, that's all we need. Just by chanting. If you're doing your chanting with full honesty, full surrender, you will see your desire for, eating outside food, your desire to watch unwanted entertainment, all this will come down. Hare Krishna. Sorry, it was a big answer, but good question.
Hare Krishna Mataji has my small questions.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Mataji, I am 80 plus.
Yes.
Doing this one fasting Ekadasi day, because I got some sugar, this now. So I think everything we have to leave it. I'm struggling, but because I'm taking tablet and all,
yes,
some acidity problems. Therefore, of course, my other gurus advised not part because of the scenario you are accepted. You can whatever you do it, you can do it. Whatever will you are doing accordingly, you do like that, like that. So
I suggest, Prabhu, shastrically, anybody below 8 and above 80 is exempted from following Ekadashi. Okay, that's your will. Shastrically. But if you want to follow, you can try alternatives like quinoa or other kind of grains, not grains, but sabudana. You can try alternatives like that, just because you have to take your medicines on time, right? So you don't have to do rice. Yes.
So far, I'm taking fruits and
that's enough, Prabhuji. Safal is also a good option post Ekadashi. So everyone can follow different levels of Ekadashi to their capacity, but to do your best of your capacity. That's all that is needed. As long as you're not taking grains on Ekadashi. That's the big no-no, right? Because taking grains on Ekadashi is a route back to hell.
My son is a doctor and he is saying, no, don't fast up to your supper.
Yes, don't fast. Don't fast. Yeah, take whatever is allowed as per Ekadashi rules.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Are there any other questions?
Mataji, after how many births again the human life occurs?
After how many births do human life occurs? There's no real science around that, Mataji. You can keep going back to animal life unlimited number of times, right? 84 lakh species of human animal variety, you'll have to evolve through that. And once you reach to a level like a cow or to the level of a horse, elephant, the next birth is a human evolution. A human life. But human life, it depends completely on how you live the life. If you're living your life like an animal, then you go back to animal kingdom, go back to being an animal, right? So how many years? There's no definite science. It's just assumptions and presumptions. The thing is, it doesn't even matter. You've taken billions of life. How does it matter how many lifetime it takes you to become a human again? So
yes, Mataji, with no Krishna consciousness, life is in vain. Okay,
so now
Mataji,
that you have picked up Krishna consciousness, your only goal, objective should be to go ahead, not go back. Jai, any other questions?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, no other questions? A lot of lovely questions today. I enjoyed the discussion. Hare Krishna. Hope you all had a good Vijaya Ekadashi today. We will come back again next Ekadashi with another class on the glories of Ekadashi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat
Krishna
pranam.
Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna
Dandavat
to all
pranam.
devotees.
I'm closing the call for everyone. Hare Krishna.